Well, hey there, gardening friends. Welcome back to the channel. I believe it is day 23 of our seed starting adventure. And for those who've been kind of following along and checking out things, we've been playing around with pepper seeds and trying to get them sprouted. It's been a little over a week now. A week ago, last Saturday, I tried starting them in the Ziploc bags with the moistened napkin, which has worked before, but for whatever reason didn't really work that well this go around. It could have been a temperature issue with the mat, could have been a moisture issue with the napkins. It's hard to tell. It could be that maybe I had some bad seeds. I'm not sure. But anyway, I wanted to take you along tonight, kind of show you now that it's been a couple days now in the 1020 tray, show you what we've got going on there. So as you can see, we've got a couple varieties that have germinated, sprouted really well. Working my way back, it's banana peppers, King of the North are the two that have done really well so far. Which, Tom, if you're watching, you're gonna be happy about that because you wanted banana peppers. The rest of the varieties somewhat patchy, and maybe they're gonna come up, but the initial results aren't that promising. I mean, something definitely happened there. We've got a couple sprouts there, a couple here, but overall, I mean, the majority of the tray did not sprout. I got probably about I'd say 25 to 30% germination rate so far overall with everything that's been started in the tray, and just some of them look sickly. I don't know what the deal was. I can't help but think that maybe in the baggies that was just the wrong approach altogether. So I probably won't do that again. We'll go with the 1020 trays instead, or smaller pots with like that I can put in a 1020 tray and cover like normal and just let them sprout. Even though it might take long, I'm no worse off for it. Because we're a week and a couple days into it, and this is what I've gotten so far. So it is what it is. Now there's still time I could potentially start the varieties that have not come up. It looks like a lot of the hot peppers didn't come up for whatever reason. So that's kind of disappointing. But worst case scenario, depending on the timing of things, I can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and pick up the Bonnie plants. I really don't want to do that. But at the same time, I don't want to be harvesting peppers in November. So, and maybe what I'll do next year, Lord willing, there is a next year, is actually start these earlier. And even though I might be kind of tight on space or whatever, get the peppers started even a few weeks earlier so that they're decent size, heading out to the garden. So this week, yeah, you need to tell me what's the name of the place. I may have enough sweet peppers. It's going to be the hot peppers that I'm going to want to get. Yeah, if you look that up, it'd probably be worth the time to do that, because really what I need to start this week's my tomatoes and get them rocking and rolling, and maybe not worry about the peppers as much. Kind of bummed about that. I've got at least one other friend that was wanting to get peppers from me. Depends how this tray goes, but I don't know if I'll have a whole lot to give in terms of the peppers other than banana pepper. You wanted banana peppers, and it's kind of funny because that's the one that did the best, and we've got probably 25 plants there. Hey Ron, what's up, man? Hey, while you're checked into the channel here, Ron, let me show you my peppers. So I started these in Ziploc bags initially and couldn't really get them to germinate. I don't know if I just didn't have the heat mat hot enough, but now I've got them in the 1020 tray and so germination. Banana peppers and King of the North came up real good, but everything else not so much. You know, maybe there's some that are getting ready to sprout, but I'm thinking maybe I got some bad seeds. Something happened. This variety may sprout, but there's something going on there. And then maybe one or two they're trying to push through here, but nothing else. So what I do wrong? I think the Ziploc baggies was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. The moisture content of the tray, it's damp right now. Like, it's not like when I push on it, moisture's coming out, but it's damp. Pendleton's Farm Market. Yeah, I know where that's at. Well, I'm probably going to check them out this weekend. I'm taking Friday off. Yeah, probably under 50%. But in the Ziploc bags, it was 100%. I mean, those paper towels were really wet. I think that was a problem. They were too wet, not just damp, but they were soaked. Yeah. Yeah, I need to check out Pendleton's, at least for the peppers. The tomatoes, I've still got time, and I've got some really good varieties. I think I've got viable seed for sure. Give it a few more days, then paper towel and run moisture higher. Okay. Let's see, I missed that chat. Let's look at that. Yeah, if it wasn't a pandemic, we could go together. We could meet up there. That's what we could do. Keep our social distancing. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I know my wife, she's wanting to spend time. Oh, good. She'll like that. Make sure you have the pound sign in the title. I got a couple people chastised me a little bit because it was, I guess, difficult for them to link my video into a competition or whatever. Yeah, hey Ron, you need to Kevin. Yeah. Yeah, no, Sharon's excited. She's excited about the greenhouse. She's got a lot of stuff in there too. I think she's got more shelves in her greenhouse than I do mine. It's just a bummer I'm not out there more. I saw it looked like Dad got the flame weeder working. Like he got a kit to convert the little propane tank he's got on a stand so he could use it with the torch, which I thought was cool. He made a little video about that. I'm hoping that works. He ended up torching a Canadian thistle. I don't know if he torched it long enough. He said he singed the leaves. He really needs to keep the torch on there until the leaves wilt, and then maybe he's got it. But even at that, man, that stuff's tough. It'll probably come back. But if you see him, you tell him that. Tell him just to keep it on there until maybe the whole thing catches fire. Shoot, but that's gonna help out a bunch. I hope that works, because that would be great if it works. We get these government stimulus checks, and maybe I could invest in some raised beds and some structures out there, so that we wouldn't have to worry about weeding as much. I could do like grow boxes, like the Mittleider method. Yeah, that'd probably be the next step. Hey, Martin. What's up, man? Yeah, Tom, you need to let me know. Like I said, this weekend I may try to hit Pendleton's. I gotta check with my wife and see what. Yeah. Yeah, I got some used motor oil. I've got chemicals we can use. I don't know. I'm Larry, man. And I don't know. The first year or two, like we told Dad, like don't put any of that Roundup, and don't hit the garden with a bunch of chemicals. I really don't want that. Didn't want to take any chance of that being like residue in our food and stuff like that. Doesn't the motor oil have chemicals in it though? Like, don't they put stuff in with it, don't they? So that it captures like the stuff in the motor. Yeah, everything is chemical. But anyway, Dad grew up, in the old days when they were, he'd be walking barefoot, putting chemicals all over the stuff. Yeah, Ron may have a point. He's got a book. Ron, I should do a video on your channel and promote your book. Yeah. Well, hey, looky here. My daughter's here. You wanna hang out?
I was just asking if I could play on the tablet.
Oh, you wanna play on what? On a tablet?
Wait, Daddy.
Aren't you playing with Bubby right now?
I was like thinking that maybe Bubby could play Wii, since I don't really want to play Wii anymore, and then I could play on the tablet.
Let's not do that right now. It's getting late. Why don't you get your jammies on?
Can I have popsicle?
Yeah, you can have some dessert if you want. Oh, shoot.
I might come back.
Okay.
Maybe later.
Yeah, so anyway, Dad grew up in the old times when they did a lot of stuff and didn't really know the long-term effects of some of that stuff. But I don't know, I guess it worked. I mean, he's pretty healthy and staying active and stuff like that. But there's definitely just a lot of work need to do out there Maybe I should take Thursday off too. I don't know. Right now, most of my staff's working from home, and so for Friday, taking Friday off, my accounts receivable specialist is gracious enough. She's coming in to work because my boss wants at least one person there who can sign checks because I'm a signature or whatever on the account in case there's bills and stuff to pay or whatever. I give that some thought. Well, actually, I got stuff. I don't think that would work, but Friday probably be good enough. Need to check with my wife and see what all she's wanting to do with the kids and hanging out. They've been just kind of stir crazy right now with the stay at home, stuff and just not going out. And they're doing the piano lessons online. I mean, everything's online, and I think everybody's kind of like. Yeah. I just know nitrogen makes things grow. But anyway, everybody's getting kind of a little stir crazy and you know, I think tired of the streaming everything. Like I said, piano lessons, the kids have been taking that online where the teacher will stream in and like FaceTime with them or do a Zoom or whatever. Yeah, Ryan. Hey, thanks for dropping by, man. Yeah, so speaking of nitrogen, I need to make up another batch of my. Yeah, do that, man. Like I said, I'll make a shout out video here at some point, and yeah, it's schooling wise. I mean, other than some of the stuff they're having to stream, school hasn't really changed much for our kids since they're homeschooled. I mean, they're still doing their assignments and doing everything, and I know there for a bit there was like some question on whether the state was going to require, um, the kids to be tested or certified or whatever, because every year you have to either have the kids take an assessment or you have to have their work, like have a portfolio of all their work, and it has to be reviewed by a licensed teacher and signed off on and all of that. So anyway, there was some question on how they're going to do that since school pretty much ended there at right before spring break or right at spring break, and they for the public school they've waived all the testing requirements, and there was some question about homeschooling whether that was going to be the case for us as well. And my wife's like, we've already got everything set up. We're just going to keep trucking the way we're doing, and as if they're going to be tested and like we do every year. Apparently today they came back with a clarification on homeschoolers that yes indeed you do still need to certify or have some kind of review or assessment, and so that's all good for us. My wife's been really diligent about all that stuff, so it was not a big deal. So anyway, all let's say that they're kind of tired of the streaming stuff and just kind of being cooped up. So I think we're going to try to do something. I'm just not sure exactly what that's going to be since most everything is, reduced hours or, things that you would typically do for fun's kind of closed. I mean, even state parks now, like you can't go camping. They won't allow you to do that. So maybe we camp in somebody's yard if we wanted to do that. I think walking trails and all of that's still available, you know, so we could potentially do that. I don't know. But my plan is to. Oh, really? That's not good. We've been fortunate, like nobody at work or anybody that we know has had it yet. You know, unless maybe they were undiagnosed or you know have one of the milder cases. You know, like my brother, he thinks that maybe he had a milder case of it because he had most of the symptoms, but at the time they wouldn't test him because they didn't have tests available. So he just basically self-quarantined for the 14 days and kind of went from there with it. Let's plug this in real quick. And he's doing better. I mean, he made a full recovery and everything, so that's good. There we go. Yeah, I saw that. And, what's the name of the company? Abbott Labs or something's kind of manufactured something where you can know within like 5 minutes what your status is with all that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. The other thing that's a concern with all this too is that, you know, okay, we get it under control or it kind of makes its first wave through everything, but then it's going to hit the third world and second world countries, you know, like Mexico and India and Africa and all that, and then potentially make a resurgence and then reinfect people here. So I don't know. I think it's going to be something that it's going to be out there for a while until they really, until they have a vaccine, you know, develop something to combat it. I know there's a gardening channel, Morning Gardener. I watch his stuff sometimes, and he made a video using a hospital bed and presumably battling the virus and stuff like that. And COVID-20. Well, that's the thing. They don't know how it's going to mutate, you know, and it's kind of like the flu and stuff like that. You know, maybe the next couple years, like there's not enough mutation where the immune system still recognizes it and can fight it. But eventually it changes to the point where, you know, you're going to could catch it again in a different form. So I don't know. It is just kind of hopefully it's not you know, once they develop a vaccine and stuff like that, maybe they can get it to where, you know, we don't hear about it a whole lot afterwards. But so, you know, other than that, just trying to be careful. Probably try to go to the store on like an off day. But hey, on a totally different subject, I think my ants are back. Like, we didn't get rid of all of them. And I'll show you this real quick. So I'm probably going to have to go a different route. I mean, the Thieves Cleaner is great. Yeah, those pickups are great. We've been shopping at Kroger quite a bit lately, at least. Whoops. I don't know if you can see that because there's a glaring TV, but there is some stuff behind there again, like there was last time. And I've seen a couple ants here and there. So they're definitely in rebuild mode. So what I'm probably going to have to do is set some bait traps to get rid of the little buggers. Or, get some heavier dutier, some stronger chemicals to deal with them. Because obviously they're wanting to stay. They like that place, and they're wanting to stay in the outlet there. So resilient little buggers. I hit them twice, and the second time I thought I got them real good after taking the outlet cover off and all that, but they're still there. So what else has been going on? One thing that's been kind of neat here lately, and though I don't know how safe it is really, is we've seen just a ton of people out in the neighborhood, like walking their dogs, kids playing. I mean, people out, like, distanced enough where it's not like this big mob that's moving through, but just a lot of people out. Man, you're way ahead of me. I was thought about possibly going out to the garden tonight, but we didn't. House was quiet. I guess everybody's kind of doing their thing, so there wasn't any dinner kind of ready. And I was like, well, I'll just grill out tonight. So we ended up grilling out and just hanging out at the house, not doing a ton, I've still got my plants here, still been babying them. They're ready to go out to the greenhouse though, and then be out at Dad's house for, till we can get them planted. Yeah, you need to. I watched that video. You got some code violations there, Tom. You got a creative electric setup there. I mean, it works, right? It works. Oh, it's funny. That's like years ago at the old house. I remember we were wanting to get wire in electricity. Yeah. And I can remember digging a little trench from the small garage where I had electric, and I wanted to run a line into our mud room so we could put our freezer out there. And I did get it run and all of that, but I put a ground fault interrupter outlet thinking, yeah, I'll do that. And that was kind of a mistake because this freezer, being as old as it was, wasn't drawing current consistently. And so occasionally it would throw that breaker, and so ultimately after it did that and we lost some food and all that, I ended up swapping that out for a regular outlet so that I wouldn't have that problem anymore. But yeah, this weekend would be a good weekend to dig a trench and run electric out. And rewire some things there. I talked to Dad. I just initially tried to convince him to let me do like an electric fence out at the garden. Just it'd be easier to maintain. I thought, weed, mow grass. Kevin, you're back. But he didn't want to do that, so we didn't do that. So instead, we've got what we've got out there, which actually held up really well over this past winter. I think because I wanted to keep the rabbits out, and but the fence is in good shape. Yeah, and that was the other thing was when I was thinking about that is getting one that ran off solar panels, like a couple solar cells to keep ugh, a battery charged, that can send out that current, to keep the rabbits at bay. But one thing we are going to do this year is trap the rabbits and relocate them. The ones that Dad's already seen a rabbit or two, and has a trap that he's going to put out. I've got a trap here at the house that we used at the old house quite a bit. So hopefully we can catch those rabbits before they get into the garden. Typically every year we'll have a rabbit get in the garden and find a crevice or a hole. And typically it's probably like the babies. Once they start exploring, they're small enough they can fit through some of the openings there. I tried to put chicken wire up, wire mesh around the whole thing, but at the gates it's a little bit more difficult to keep those sealed out, especially if like the gate isn't closed. Like I got one section that's a 12-foot opening that we've got these double gates. It's supposed to strap up against the gates, and I've got wire that overlaps, but if it's not strapped tight and there's a little gap, a small rabbit or something can get in there, and we've had that happen, and then they ended up just kind of living in there. Yeah. Yeah, so we need to get the traps out there and get them trapped and relocated, because I don't want to be planting lettuce for the wildlife out there. That happened the first or second year out there where I'd have a row of these really nice heads planted and come there the next day and be 2 or 3 of them missing. And it wasn't Dad eating the lettuce, it was the rabbits coming in and eating it down. So yeah, I asked Dad about cats. He hates cats. He has no desire. And actually he lost his 2 dogs in the last year or so, year and a half, and he's not gotten any replacements. He's got my sister's dog right now. Yeah, I'll have to hit you up, Kevin. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to do that. So there we go. I got kicked off there. Anyway, we got a miniature dachshund who loves small game and stuff like. I mean, she's bred for that stuff. And I remember at the old house, one year there was a rabbit's nest that was on the other side of the wooden fence that ran along the property there, and there were like 5 baby bunny rabbits that were kind of hanging out, and the dog was like right there waiting for one of them to try to hop through the slat to get them, and she did. She ended up getting one of them. Got too close. She's able to grab that sucker, and she ran off with the thing, and she tossed that sucker up in the air with her neck. The thing was like turning head over head, and grabbed it by the head, and the head just ripped off. And there's this headless bunny just laying in the yard. And she gulped that head down like whole. and was gonna go after the rest of it, you know, and we shoot her away. That was terrible. But she's a killer, man. We had another time when it was Mother's Day weekend. We call it the Mother's Day Massacre because the kids had a little playhouse in the backyard, and some robins or a robin built a nest up in the playhouse because we had been out. I think we went on vacation or something. We were gone for a week, and I guess it was quiet enough that they built this nest and laid eggs in there. And so the kids were kind of watching it, and every once in a while checking on things. And my wife went up the slide to look when the birds were big enough. They hop out of the nest. She's screaming, and the dog is waiting down at the bottom of the slide. And one of the kids had named the birds too. One was named Chubbs. I forget the other two, but that little bird hit the slide, went right down, went right in the dog's mouth. That dog killed that one, you know, and traumatized the kids. So she doesn't hesitate. She's got that killer instinct if there's something that's appeals to her, especially like small stuff like rabbits. Rabbits are probably her favorite. She'll go after in a heartbeat if she sees them, and it's kind of, I mean, it's funny now. It wasn't really funny then because the kids and all that's going on. But anyway, I'll have to say that we've taken her out to Dad's house before. Yeah. We've taken her out to Dad's house before and let her roam around. She sniffed around, and she's found little things where she starts sniffing real hard, like, you know, there's something that's been there. And so anyway, it's all fun. So, well, I should probably jump off here. It's been fun chatting, but I do need to help out with the kids and stuff like that. And this Friday, we'll see what's going on, but I definitely have to check out Pendleton's and see what kind of peppers they got. And I may very well get a flight of peppers, at least the hot ones, if I don't see any more sprout from my tray here, and kind of see how things play out. And had to get over your place, Tom, for the potato sets and pick up the fertilizer and all that good stuff. And then maybe I can do some planting this weekend. Yeah, I need to get a hold of you, Kevin, too. Whether it's Friday, I need to talk to Jen and see what she's wanting to do and all of that. But it should be a good time. So, all right, well, hey, until next time, happy gardening. Bye.